So while I was at work, my ball python, which is a vanilla enchi, laid a clutch of eggs. I actually got very lucky and I pulled up my Blink security camera system that I had placed in there just in time to watch her lay one of the eggs. After we are done watching her lay her egg, I'll show you how I go about preparing the eggs for the incubator. Ball python eggs require a high humidity level during incubation, and that high humidity is really hard to reach inside an incubator. So to help with this, I use these shoe storage containers that you can buy at your retail stores, and I mix 200 grams of vermiculite with about 200 grams of water. I use distilled water to help make sure there's no bacteria or other minerals that might grow mold or anything like that. And usually I add a little bit of extra water. So this vermiculite should be clumpy, almost like you're playing with wet sand or something like that. And while this is clumping up, it's not that way in all the corners of this box, so I'm going to pour in just a little bit more water, and I'm going to mix this up good again. I am preparing 2 egg boxes just to be safe because I don't know how many eggs my snake laid. And on top of that vermiculite, I'm going to lay this crate that I bought online and just cut to size for each box. Unfortunately, when I went to remove the eggs from the tub that the ball python laid her eggs in, the camera stopped recording for some reason, so I did not get video of that, but it was pretty uneventful. Now I have 8 ball python eggs, and I have to separate them from one another in order to fit them into the egg box. And doing this is always nerve-wracking because I feel like I'm going to rip one of the eggs. They're bound together so tight, but I never actually do. So I always just go slow and pop them apart one by one. I'll give you a better view here of how they stick together. It's almost like they come out as a dough ball, and it's 2 dough balls that rose and just warmed up and got stuck together in the process. I'm going to go ahead and speed things up here a bit because now you have the general idea of what I'm doing, and you don't need to see the whole dragged out 8 minutes. I'm going to place each of the eggs in this box. I'm pretty sure I can fit all of the eggs in just one egg box. And then after I'm done fitting the eggs in here, I'm going to go back through and candle each one of the eggs. It's interesting that the ball pythons actually start to develop inside their mother before the egg is even laid. This is not a usual reproductive trait that most animals have. However, it's not uncommon in reptiles. As I'm going through and candling the eggs, I'm making sure that the embryo is towards the top and facing upwards, and after I'm done candling all of the eggs and pointing the embryo to the top, I'll go back through with a marker and mark a line on each egg, so if the egg carton gets bumped, I can turn the eggs right back up so the embryos continue to face up, because studies show they develop better when they're facing upwards. After getting through all 8 eggs, I go through with my blue marker and just make a quick line on each one indicating the correct upward position. After the eggs are all candled and marked, I fill out a quick information tag with the egg laid date, the hatch date or estimated hatch date, 60 days out, and who the pairing was for the breeding of these eggs. One last step before the eggs go in the incubator, I have to cover the top of this egg carton with press and seal. You can usually get this at any grocery store, or you can definitely order it online. And the press and seal is just one last step to help hold in as much moisture during this 60-day incubation process as possible. I lay the sheet on top and just press it down good around the edges, and then I can pop my lid back on this box and slide it right into the incubator. This incubator is set at 89.6 degrees, and it's got an internal fan and a nice light that goes inside there, and it holds the temperature excellent. So we're going to set the egg box in there, and that's exactly where it will sit for the next 60 days, unless I decide to pull the eggs out and continue to candle them throughout the process.